Shore musician and artist Brian Huntress sat down with the local scene to give us his perspective on life during a pandemic and how it's changed him.
I think it first hit me in the very beginning, and for probably like too long, I didn't at all take it seriously. I was in a Walmart and I wasn't wearing a mask, and like half the people there were and other people weren't. And I was among the few there that were very like afraid and like, oh my God, I really should have worn a mask. And it really was, it didn't feel good. It just felt really weird and dystopian, but that was in like mid-March. I think I got the picture pretty quickly after that. Despite not having any idea what was going to happen, I started to follow suit with what, normal safety precautions at this point, but before COVID, I was working on literally any odd job project or anything I could possibly do all day, 7 days a week, too late at night. And I thought that that was what it took or what I would have to do in order to be happy or to get my work done. But in staying home, I kind of had to reconcile with a lot of really unhealthy views and ideas I had about work and about money and about the way I thought of myself and my value as determined by what I can produce and value I can produce, which was bad. That wasn't a good way to think, obviously. But it took me a while to learn that, because I was among the people in the beginning that was trying really hard to almost like monetize my quarantine or like utilize every waking hour. And it kind of got to a point where like a month in, I just started to almost like psychologically burn out. And with watching a lot of documentaries and thinking more abstractly and more critically about my role in the world, I guess, I started making art because of art, instead of making it because of money. My work life changed for the better. Who I am right now, I make art and I make music, and that is what I do, but I have had a lot of self-declared identities over the years. I used to work in addiction treatment. I used to do like random public speaking about recovery. I'm 24 years old. I grew up in Massachusetts. I've never lived anywhere else, and I make art and I make music. My social life is constructed by music, really, and through shows and stuff, where the only people I'm around are other musicians and people going to shows and people making music. I got pulled directly out of it and put into quarantine, and like I said, I thought that was really terrible in the beginning, but that ended up being a really positive thing too, because I kind of realized that a majority of the relationships that I had were negative and were transactional, but they're not emotionally fulfilling. My life used to have a random occurrence factor where I was constantly around people and a revolving door of strangers and acquaintances that is now gone. So I have to invest more in actually having meaningful relationships at this point, which is harder and requires muscles that I have not exercised in a long time. It's kind of like being a kid and not having friends, and like the idea of how do I have friends, And pretty much all of my goals, my like more concrete, real goals, were rooted in events and public things and stuff like that. So I'm not heartbroken about it, but a lot of those plans are not possible anymore and would be unwise to invest in at this point. I'll be very quick to invest in other people and in community things and to try to put in a lot of effort into public things, but I think it takes a lot to actually want to invest in yourself and in your own future. I guess I'm hesitant to try to find a silver lining, because it's horrible that so many people have suffered, but I think that it's like the universe just gave me this like brutal like timeout, like, you know what I mean, where like kind of forced me to take a seat and to step back and have a lot of perspective. I think I got to see myself in a lot of ways that I hadn't before, and see everybody else in a lot of ways I hadn't before. Overall, net positive. The people at our level and people like mutual aid and community and like, neighbors are really important. And I think we're all a lot more powerful than we think we are. And we rely on gigantic, huge institutions to try to do these things for us. And I think, sadly, throughout all this, we've found in a lot of ways that they don't come through. I think people took care of each other, and I think that's really beautiful. Maybe we need to do more of that, but at the end of the day, when you're involved in like local music and local art, the local part should be the important thing, like the people in the community and, you know, people's lives and feelings. And that's the thing too, is that that's never been something that I consciously decided to do or decided not to do. It's just something I never thought about or had to think about because I didn't really imagine a world where social anything wasn't allowed or wasn't like safe really. So I'm just excited to care more.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing your story.